Welcome to Who Put This On Season 5, Episode 41, where we watch LOL: Last One Laughing. I'm Chris Lorenz.
This is BJ.
This is Noah Laffer.
This is Brian.
Robert Getz.
Me llamo Estados Unidos de Mexico.
Welcome. If this is your first time listening, we watch a different reality show each week, discuss it, and rate it in all its minutiae. Rob, what show do we watch this week?
Eugenio Derbez pits 10 of the best comedians in Mexico against each other in the Celebrity Showdown. As the clock counts down in this 6-hour competition, their objective is to eliminate others from the house by making each other laugh. The last comedian who stays in the house without laughing wins the grand prize of 1 million pesos. That's LOL: Last One Laughing on Amazon Prime.
Thank you, Rob. One note is that there's another LOL on Amazon Prime hosted by Rebel Wilson, which is an Australian version of this show. And Max, what was the other show we did that came out with this first?
Yeah, so this show is clearly a licensed reproduction of Documental on Amazon Prime Video from Japan.
It's an exact copy, 6 hours. We'll get into it. But listen to that pod. Some of us thought it was pretty good. Some of us didn't. You have to listen, figure it out. So essentially what happens is this host, we'll get into the host, comes in, introduces 10 comedians. They give him money, 100,000 pesos, which all gets put into a pot. Then they do this game, which we'll get into. They try to make each other laugh, and that's the end of the episode. One person laughs in this episode, which is not a lot. So let's pull this back a little bit. Let's talk about the host. Noah, can you tell me more about our host here?
Yeah, so Eugenio Derbez, he's a Mexican actor, comedian, filmmaker. He does have a meaningful claim to fame, though. He started and wrote the most successful Spanish language film in the U.S. Not bad.
Which is?
Instructions Not Included. I'm not familiar with it personally, but clearly he's made some bank. He's had a lot of film parts. I peg him for no good reason as a Mexican Ray Romano. I don't know why. He's definitely more like a Mexican Adam Sandler, but Ray Romano.
Whoa, that's a big gulf between Ray Romano and Adam Sandler.
It really is. I don't have any justification for Ray Romano. He really is much more of a Mexican Adam Sandler.
But he's pretty big then.
So he's huge.
Which Adam Sandler, though? Old Adam Sandler or current Adam Sandler that's on Netflix all the time?
It's a bit of the both. Like, I'm looking at his credits, right? He does, like, the Spanish voice for The Grinch. The Spanish voice for the main character in The Secret Life of Pets 2. He's in Angry Birds 2. Like, and he's actually in a lot of Adam Sandler movies. Like...
So you're comparing him to the star of the movies he's a bit part in?
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay. Just want to clarify what we're talking about here.
Yeah, my comparisons are really bad on this one for Ray Romano or Adam Sandler. They're just very, very bad. So
all right,
I'm just going to roll with it.
We're moving on from that. So they introduced the 10 comedians. I can give everyone's name, but I'm not sure it's really going to matter. Like, I don't
give
think
us their archetypes, not their names.
Well, I don't really. All right, Max. First person is Daniel Sosa. What is his archetype?
He's a person.
He's a generic person, along with Alex Fernandez. He also seemed like a person.
Is he a person?
Yeah, he definitely was a person.
Oh,
I think so. You guys are missing some comments here. The host tells us that all of the people are strong opponents.
Yeah.
And they bring something unique to the show.
Yeah.
Which maybe we get to see in later episodes, but in the first episode, they do not bring anything unique to the show. In fact, they really don't bring anything to the show.
No, I'd say the only unique person on the show is the woman who's supposedly a very good actress. Like everyone else is like a comedian.
Stephanie Salas is her name.
So the thing about
The other woman. There's three of them. The first woman.
Michelle,
Carlos Ballarta?
No, I think Michelle. I think Brian got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Michelle. Yeah.
the thing about all the comedians is that like they all have their acts and like they're all known for something in their acts. We just haven't seen it yet, except for we saw one person. They brought out like their luchador mask, and that's fine. Like they have to save like their best stuff for later. And everybody in the show seems like know each other, so like they're all familiar. Like, oh yeah, I've laughed at their act. Like when they come out with that, I got to really watch out.
Yeah, I mean, we could roll through the rest of these people. We got Pancho Barbollo. I can't. Don't ask me to say it in Mexican Spanish because I not me. We got We talked about Michelle Rodriguez.
Is,
Oh, that's not right.
is her name
That's
Michelle? I don't think it's
No.
Michelle Rodriguez.
I'm pretty sure that's a autocorrect on my phone. And so
When I was
don't
writing a
know
lot
what
of this,
her-
I was fighting the autocorrect.
I don't know what her real name is. But
Okay.
her first name is Michelle. Carlos Vallarta.
Mhm.
She was the large woman. That's her archetype, right? I don't know. Is that a thing? Manu Na. He's the blue hair gay person. That's his archetype.
Sure.
The evil witch.
Stephanie Salas was the woman that was primarily featured in the show. She had like a jumper on and she had like
Yep.
some props she brought out. She was the only one that seemed to try to be funny from what I
Yeah.
could tell.
Yeah, she also seemed like she might be the most like accomplished. Like it seems like Stephanie Salas was like her character in a show, and that's why they were referring to her as that. But her real name was something else.
Rob, do you have something to say about Miss Michelle?
Her name is Michelle Rodriguez. I found it on the IMDb, so confirmed.
All right.
Oh, there we go.
So it
I
wasn't.
don't think it's
autocorrect.
the same Michelle Rodriguez, though. I think it's a different Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah, if you're listening to this, I don't think it's the same one.
That'd be a hell of a get.
Then we've got Diablito.
Oh, okay. This guy brings a little special something to the show, I think.
Oh,
Is that the
his
guy with the
voice
crazy voice?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Here, can we hear everybody's impression of this guy?
I already did mine.
I just can't.
I can't do it.
know how to do anything.
Oh, that was really good.
That was great, Brian. I think that's all we really need.
Crushed it, Brian.
Crush. I don't think I get anywhere near that. That was
I also
great.
made myself laugh, so I'm out.
Yeah, this guy. This guy.
say. I have to go in there.
That was
Oh,
good
that was
too.
pretty good too.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy just talks like one of those people with like a hole in their throat for like the entire time. It's fucking nuts.
So is that his natural voice, or is
I
this
think-
like a thing is this a put on that he's committed to the bit?
I have no idea.
No idea.
I feel like if you spoke like that permanently, you'd probably damage something. Like
Or he already did, like maybe he actually did damage something, and like he
Right.
turned
Like-
he turned lemons into lemonade, and you know made it part of his shtick.
yeah.
Maybe it's like that thing when your parents told you don't make that funny voice, that like funny face, because it'll stick that way. And that guy just made that funny voice long enough that it was his voice now.
Why do parents always tell you that?
Because they didn't want you to make a funny face.
But why? It could make people laugh.
I don't know.
I can get on this show and make a lot of money.
Should we
so-
talk about?
oh.
Well, let's get to that after we intro all the people. We gotta get
I have an update. Stephanie Salas is a famous Mexican singer and actress, like big time.
bigger
so-
than the host.
No, like so the comedian on the show just kind of looks like her. That's about it.
What are you? I'm confused.
So the comedian on the show, her name's not Stephanie Salas. She just happens to look like this very famous person in Mexico called Stephanie Salas.
That's why people are joking about calling her Stephanie Salas. Now it makes more sense.
But I thought they
interesting.
introduced her as Stephanie Salas. No.
No, just people said that when she entered.
Oh. Okay. What is her real name then? Some IMDb it, dude. You're right fucking there. Leave me alone.
No, like, I gotta get on that, but I don't have it right now.
Yeah, we've got La Chapitos or Liliana. She was kind of an older woman esque.
Liliana
archetype.
Arriga.
I think the one that was Stephanie Salas is Alexis de Anda.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have an Alexis on here.
Yep, that's it.
All right, well there you go. That's thanks for the correction. If you're so we don't get all those emails and tweets.
Yeah, so many emails.
yeah.
Alex, our last
That's okay.
contestant is Alex Montiel, El Scorpion. Scorpion? I don't know, whatever.
El Scorpion Diablo.
Thank you, Brian. I missed
I
part
don't
of
remember anything.
that. I don't know who that person is. So
Doesn't matter.
let's talk about the money. So everyone has to bring in money. So this is kind of an interesting aspect to this, where everyone has to bring in 100,000 pesos. Max, can you tell us how much 100,000 pesos is?
Yes, so each person is bringing in basically 5,000 US dollars. This all goes into a pot. There's like 10 of them, including the host, and that brings the winning pot to 50,000 US dollars.
No. I think so. There's 10 of them plus the host, which makes the winning, which makes your winnings be 50,000 USD, and you get your 5,000 back.
Yeah, if you win.
Okay,
If you win,
there's,
right?
There's no, you get all the money, which is 55,000, which 5,000 of that is you. But
Right.
the
Sure.
second place doesn't get anything. Third place doesn't get anything. So, it's winner take all here.
It's like I have two things about this money situation. One, do we really believe the contestants are putting in the money? But then secondly, the show is putting in equal money as the contestants, right? Let's say the answer to the first one is yes. Like the show, like I really thought it would be like only like 5 contestants and the show is doubling their winnings, right? Like that ratio would kind of make sense to me. This ratio like makes no sense.
I'm not entirely sure on this one, but I think that it would behoove the show for them to bring in their own money, because then people are like real serious. Like they really don't want to lose their money. Like it's one thing to not win someone else's money, but it's like something very different to lose your own money.
what
Right?
I'd say is on the Japanese version of the show, people seem to take it pretty seriously.
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely say in the Japanese version, they brought their own money. On this version, I don't know. They tried to do this bit that they did in the Japanese version, where like shows where they got their money, but it was just a confessional about pretty much a confessional on like, I got it from my grandmother, or like, it is my life savings. Like, so this show doesn't seem like it's their own money. Doesn't feel like it is.
But
Anyone
let's
else?
believe them for a second. Like the show needs to put in more money. Like this is just some bullshit that like one contestant and the show is putting in equal money. Like that's like, it really should be like everyone brings in, 100,000, and then the show is like, here's $1 million from our side.
I mean, you're not wrong. I do think that is kind of weird. Like, it's at least the Japanese version of the show, the premise, it's like kind of a narrative where the host is putting on this competition and he's putting in the money, and it's like not really about this TV show. Like, if the TV show's involved, like, obviously you should get paid for the TV show.
In Documental, according to how it's laid out, there is no money from the show. It is they each put in 100,000, and that is, or $1 million, whatever the denomination is, and that's the whole prize. So there's no implication that the show puts in any money.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know if they put any money here either.
Well, in this one, the host is putting the 100,000.
Right.
No, the host
Oh.
put money in Documental as well.
I don't think that's true.
At least in season 2 they did. I don't know.
Or maybe in season 2.
No, I don't remember them ever doing that.
I mean, it doesn't matter, right? It's such a
Yeah.
minor part of the money. That's kind of my main comment. But so like, I actually think like the other way where the host doesn't put in money does feel better, because then like I probably don't come up with this question, right? So now they've kind of triggered me on this, where like I'm like, why are they cheaping out?
But it definitely
Uh,
raises one of Chris's favorite things of how fake is all this. Of just like they could have given them the 100,000 pesos and said, "Hey, here's now you go and put it in like it's your own money." Like it'd be really easy to
Right.
do that.
I mean, everyone had it in like nice bankrolls and like nice, neat, folded like things.
So they had to hide it in different places.
It just all looked like the same. Like they came from the same spot. They were all
Yeah,
like
it's
kind
the
of new
bank.
currency.
If all of us had to go get $5,000 right now, all of our cash would also look the same because all of
Yeah,
us would go to a bank and get it.
I mean, obviously, I don't have that kind of cash sitting around, but like,
Right. So like
Brian
all
does.
like the same situation. Like if the six of us needed like $5,000 of cash, we'd all go to the bank. It would all get end up looking similar.
but like, if you're a comedian that's going on the road a lot, like,
What are you
I don't
getting
know.
paid in cash? Like, do you
I
think
don't
that's
know,
how
maybe.
comedians
I-
work?
I
No,
think
If
you
you
might
have
be
to
paid
go
in cash.
scrounge up
Okay.
money from someone, like, hey,
Comedians
I
don't
need
get paid in
$1,000. I like need $1,000 from you. Can I borrow $1,000 from this other person? Like, it could like theoretically look different.
No.
Theoretically,
Yeah, theoretically it could look different for you too, but like I'm just like it's when people need this kind of cash, especially like this money obviously must mean more in Mexico, right? Like they kind of make it clear on the show that that's the case. Like it's not the cash that they had; they all had to go to the bank to get it.
okay, all right, whatever. I'm done with this. Brian, explain to me the game that this actually is. Give me the minutia, the rules.
Okay. The host is sitting in a room watching like all the cameras around the room. As everybody's trying to make one another laugh, if he spots somebody on the camera that's laughing, he's going to stop everything. He's going to come in and give a card. It'll either be a yellow card if it's your first offense or a red card after your second, after which you're exiled from the house. The person after 6 hours left in like who has not been ejected wins. If there is more than one people at the end of 6 hours, then they're going to do a tiebreaker. I know in Documental, they had like a tally of, oh, you eliminated X number of people, you win. I don't know what they didn't seem to indicate that they were using the same method here, so I don't know what they're going to do.
They just didn't clarify what the tiebreaker would be. They're just going to hide it, which I think is a miss. Like, knowing that people have to go on the offensive adds more excitement to the show.
But they still need to do that. Like, they still need to go on the offense because like they don't know what the tiebreaker is going to be.
I think there's just going to be a tiebreaker thing like that, like 2 or 3 people would have to do. I don't think that like the tiebreaker was based on the 6-hour event. I think it was like at 6 hours they'll do a tiebreaker.
So I know one of the seasons of Documental, they started scoring people on how much you got other people out. So
Yeah.
it awarded people who were more proactive,
Right.
which I think is the right way to do it.
Yeah, that's what Brian was saying.
Right,
Yeah, that definitely seems like, as we'll get into, I think right now, is that we see like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes of this competition and it's real boring. Like no one is funny. No one's laughing.
Yeah,
I actually think like
I think that's why, because in Documental, people are coming out hot, right? They are going at it from the beginning. It's because they know you get the offensive points, right? And if there's more people at the beginning, it's a higher rate your jokes will land with someone, making someone laugh. Where here, they don't have an incentive. And so it's more just like, hold my steady, don't laugh.
right.
I mean,
I actually think
believe
like
you.
if you should have like two like so like I'll get to the cards in a second, but like you can take 2 cards, right? Like or second strike and you're out basically. If you get someone out, you should get an extra strike ability, right? Like that's how important it should be. Then you would really have people going all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't seem like people were trying that hard. That's really what it came down to. Like, we saw somebody in a penis hat. Like, come on. Like,
I mean,
that might-
Documental had a lot of weird prop comedy. Like,
I know the prop comedy really is kind of what you have to do, but like, you gotta like, you can't just come out in a penis hat and that's your only thing. Like,
the
This
thing,
is-
thing about Documental, like the first season, I don't think they had any tiebreaker by scoring offensive points. But this first season Documental had this guy named Jimmy who was just, he went on the offensive in such a weird way, and then he just started laughing at himself, and he was the first one out. And like, but that I think really got it going. And there's no one who's just, you know, kamikazing themselves Jimmy style here. And I think the problem might just be like these are just, they don't have the right people.
Yeah, I mean, on that note, the one laugh we did see was somebody laughing at themselves.
Did they laugh? I thought that was highly questionable.
I thought she just smiled.
At
was a
this
smile.
point, when you're an hour into a 6-hour event and no one has laughed, that's a laugh.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. That like the show has to keep dropping the bar on what is a laugh to get the show moving. But in normal life, I am not considering that a laugh.
I think it was a chuckle.
I
Like
think
it was a small like smile and like like
I think
and
that
just-
I'm with Brian on this one. I think it was a small laugh. Wasn't like a laugh that you would say is a laugh, but like if we were having a competition, that'd at least be half a point. Which at this level, it's a point because
Yeah, I have another comment about the card situation. This maybe probably the five of you won't care, but like they don't use yellow and red cards correctly. Like, why have a shtick if you're not gonna do it correctly? There's no straight reds, and the second one is a straight red, not a second yellow. Like, what's going on? Why don't they know how these cards work? They clearly the Mexican show. Most of these some of these people must be watching football, growing up at least. Like, what is going on here?
Max, I feel like in documental there might have been some straight red cards. Do you remember?
No, I think it's always. I think they have an orange card where it's just like first strike, second strike, third strike. I remember the first time I saw an orange card, I was like, "Wait, what the fuck is going on here?"
I like that better. At least they're not trying to if someone just loses their shit, there needs to be a straight red.
Well, the thing in documental is, I think the host said, "Oh, maybe I'll give you the straight red card. You don't know," and then that never happened. It was always one strike, two
Right.
strike, three strike.
they tried to make it seem like there was some nuance to what you were getting, and it never happened.
So I somewhat respect that this show is like, you're gonna get a warning, and then you're gonna get the real one, and that's the way it is. And I like using the yellow red cards for that. More things need to use the yellow red card system. That's a good system.
It is.
I need to be able to do it at work. I need to be able to give people yellow cards at work. You know?
Scrum. You take it too long. Yellow card.
Yeah.
Move on. Yeah. So you're right, Rob, that I think that the fatal mistake a lot of people make in this show is that they make themselves laugh. Like they go into a bit and then they're prepped to laugh because it's their bit, and then they laugh because they're ready to laugh. And you gotta really watch yourself.
Yeah. Part of also telling a joke is you can also laugh with the audience because then laughter is contagious. So you have to restrain yourself. That's something they're used to.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely not do well in this show at all. So let's talk about some of our bits that we saw. Let's do favorite bit. Brian, what was your favorite bit?
I'd have to say the cigarette delivery with just the penis coming out of it. I had no idea what was going to come out of it. I probably should have guessed, but
Is that a bit? What's
Yeah.
the bit?
Wait. You should have guessed that a small penis was going to come out of the cigarette box.
well, I mean, something not cigarettes is going to come out clearly. But then what is it? Is it going to be vulgar? Is it going to be just something super random? Some of the more
I thought it would be like a bunch of streamers would pop out. But that would be funny.
that would my
Yeah.
joke. That was
If a glitter bomb happened, that'd be pretty good. I feel like a
Exactly.
couple people would be immediate
glitter
out.
bomb. Or I think it would be funny to do fireworks, some sort of firecrackers. Probably
like-
not the best, but
Even with the glitter bomb, I think you can easily get in someone's eye and not the problem.
but trying to.
they're
get
not afraid of hurting each other. That's the thing. It's fine.
I feel like that's what you really got to go for is the physical pain that someone's not expecting. I think that's where you're going to get people.
I think we'll have to get into some of our favorite documental bits after this. But
Ooh, yeah.
Rob, explain your favorite bit for us?
Can I say I had no favorite bit? All these bits were garbage.
Explain a bit then that happened on the show.
Explain a bit that happened on the show. So El Scorpion put on a Mexican wrestling mask, which the host seemed to recognize it. So this might be part of his bit because the host was like, "Oh, it's too soon. It's too soon for it to come out," and then he just like they just went and talked to people with the mask on. I didn't really get what I thought it was a wrestling mask. He was gonna start strutting around like The Rock or something and like threaten to pick people up, and that didn't happen. So I didn't really know where he was going with that.
Noah, explain your favorite bit or a bit. Noah's not paying attention.
I am
DJ,
paying attention.
Yeah, you
I
look
am
busy
being
though.
Attacked by a savage beast. So I was trying to think. I think the best bit for me was when I forgot who was giving a massage to Manu. But he starts talking about like which kind of parties do you go to? Do you go to like the good-looking people parties? And I think that had the opportunity to make the most laughter because he was trying to make Manu feel uncomfortable. Manu's trying to throw jokes back at him about having sex with Ricky Martin. So I feel like there was like the most kindle in the fire there, even though it didn't really make a spark.
VJ, explain your favorite bit.
Okay, so like either I didn't understand the comedy or it's just not my type of comedy where like they're just trying to do like weird slapstick physical things. But my actual favorite bit of comedy in the entire episode was when they asked the one guy how he got the money and he says, I definitely had to get it from my sugar daddy. Don't ask me what I had to do. I had to be in a wheelchair for 3 days.
Sure.
All right. Max, what's your favorite bit?
That's like asking to find my favorite piece of shit in a pile of shit. But
You could just explain a bit for me.
yeah, okay. Some guy absorbs, sucks up some helium, and the first thing he says is like Hakuna Matata, and I thought that was a good choice.
Well, I think he says that he
You
sounds
sound like
right?
Timon. Yeah.
And he kind of did, to be fair to him.
My favorite bit was, I think it was Alex Fernandez or one of the nondescript guys comes in and like reads off these cards and he's like, this is what makes me laugh, like trying to prep everyone to laugh, and then proceeds to make up words. And like one of the words was like getting embalmed or like something really weird, and like everyone around was like, are you sure that's what that? And I thought that was pretty good dialogue that could have started some laughter. I thought that was probably the best bit on the show that hasn't been gone over.
It's a bit with potential, I would say. Yeah.
They just
But-
don't get into that much conversation. I feel like all the conversation just seemed like they just cut out, like not like, and it's not edited that much. Like the show, the whole thing only lasts 6 hours, and like there's enough episode time for that. So I don't really know
Well-
what's going on.
But we saw like at some point they showed the clock, and it was like a half hour into this 6 hour thing, and like they had like just started the clock like 5-10 minutes ago in the show. So like they skipped over like 20 minutes of probably terrible bits that no one laughed at.
Yeah.
So I mean that's really it. Like this show, we watched one episode and it's just not funny.
Do you think it picks up? Do you think like they just they took an hour to get going, and then after an hour, then they hit their stride? They got the better props out, and it started to work.
I think there's a great probability that it gets better, but does it get good? I don't think so. Like the next time on or this season on, did it look funny? Like there was
Did not look
if you
funny.
had funny things, you would put it there.
The one other thing I had is like, the host is always watching the people on the quad screen setup. He's watching the folks, whatever, he's in like the next room or whatever. They should do like a panel there. Right?
Sure,
Like
yeah.
if there were 2-3 people chatting about the people, I feel like they could also create some comedy. Whereas the host kind of just says stuff right now, which is really not adding any value. Like the host is kind of useless in the show.
So we could talk about the comparison of the documental host here. The documental host was like I'd say 100% better or like a million times better.
Yeah.
he like the host needs to do is be the laugh track. He needs to be the one sitting there laughing, so we feel okay laughing, and then that's funny in that room. And this dude just like I just don't think things were funny, so he didn't have things to laugh at. Is
Right.
probably the problem. He's nothing to say. He's got nothing to do because people are being bored.
But that's why I think if there was a panel, they could crack jokes about the people, and at least that would be funny.
Well, that's not like the role is for the people in the room to be funny. Like making the show, like you got to pick better people. You
Right.
can't just pick these schlups like you did.
It's really true. Like in documental, one thing is like you hear laughing going on all the time. It's just like, wait, is someone laughing? And it's the host, and they have his audio on, and he's just cracking up constantly.
He's
And everything
having a
going
blast
on.
on that show.
Yeah, he's just providing a lot of energy. He's providing like the like ready to laugh kind of mentality you need to be to watch the show. And this guy's not. But he also doesn't have a whole lot to laugh at, so
Yeah.
And like his confessionals were good too. Like we talked about this host, like every person he introduced is like, oh, he's such a tough competitor. This is an interesting one. And the documental host confessionals were actually like kind of interesting and how he was thinking about the competition. And they definitely also lead into this is my competition. I found these people and I set it up, which I think is a nice gimmick.
Like the Japanese version feels much more like it's his club, and it's like, hey, this is for pride. Like we're doing some money, so you give a shit, but like this is just because we fucking love this. Where this feels much more like a game show.
this just
Even though
feels
all these
like
people knew each other. Like all these folks seem to know each other, so you would think that would create some like, good vibes in the house, but it didn't pan out.
or create some bad vibes. But it created no vibes. It's very weird.
Right.
It just feels like a poor carbon copy of it's like literally a carbon copy of documental, but you like didn't ruin everything, but you didn't make anything better. You made things worse. Like you don't have your own spin on it. You like your spin is the same, but the people aren't as funny. The host isn't as good. So what did you do? Why did you do this to us?
This is one of the most starkly similar yet different. We've compared a couple of shows before, like UK versus the US. How far is Tattoo Far? Usually they're like different enough that they have their own thing going on. This one, they're exactly the same show. It's just people on this one are good and the people on this one are bad. It's
Maybe.
Game
fucking
shows have this usually, right? The game shows usually you have them like syndicated across countries, and they give you the same exact vibe, and like actually they end up being the similar quality. But in this case, somehow same vibe, terrible quality.
Yep.
Like the vibe is slightly off, but it's mostly just the wrong people. Like the way that it's like the credits for documental was this really kind of weird thing of two people, and it seems like they're gonna fight, and then one of them like makes the other one laugh, and then it goes to an extra of the skeleton, and the skeleton explodes, and it's just so like over the top, but it's kind of funny. And this one was this weird like wacky kind of funny music and just oh, isn't this a goofy show kind of thing, and it's just like it's like no, you're not. Like documental had this weird super seriousness that was funny because it was too serious, and this show is like, oh, we're this wacky funny show, but it's like then it's just boring.
You do bring a good point. There is definitely a different tone going on here.
Yeah.
It's just like the bits are like, and the people in them, like, there's definitely, I don't know. Just like you got so much more character out of the people in the show. Like these people seem so boring. So go watch documental. Like that's just like if you're interested, watch that. Although I do think documental also starts out kind of slow too. So like
It does.
I think season 1 was a little slow. Season 2, like once they realized that, oh, we got to start eliminating people, everybody just start coming out swinging. But I don't think it really hit this group of people.
If you're watching season 1, start from episode 2. That's kind of when the action really starts.
But so just to be clear, like documental episode 1 is just the intros of the people, and the competition doesn't start, and then the competition starts with episode 2.
Pretty much. I think there was like 5 minutes of competition in episode 1.
Yeah, at the end.
Barely.
Well, there's our recommendation. Let's go to questions. Let's just do these some questions here. We got who's the worst human being? Is it the host for getting all these boring people together? Or is
I
it
think
like a contestant that's just did something bad?
I think it's the host by default because you just don't know who anything about these other people.
Nobody
I mean,
did
like-
anything particularly awful.
Sort of in the confessional, and again, like this is with the assumption that I'm believing everything that they're saying. One person says that they stole money to be on the show from their family.
From their
That
grandma.
seems,
Yeah.
right. That seems pretty terrible.
Yeah, I think that wins. I think that's the nomination.
I mean, I think he borrowed the money and he was just
It was
joking
a
that he
joke.
stole it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes,
you
okay.
know, you can't joke about stealing from your grandma. Okay,
I guess
you
that's
definitely
just,
can.
you just can't do it.
I think you definitely can. That is
You can
definitely
definitely
on the
joke
table.
about that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Noah's the worst person on this podcast. You know?
Well,
I think if we took a vote, that probably is.
We're at Pride.
is this the apex downgrade for the host?
He's Adam Sandler, dude. This is definitely can't be the apex. What are you talking about? I've heard he's some sort of Ray Romano, Adam Sandler combo.
Damn straight.
His
Yeah.
apex was clearly Jack and Jill.
I keep thinking Jack
sorry.
and Jill is that TV show Jack and Jill, which I like. Any of you even know about that TV show?
No, I have
No.
no idea. Oh, I
There's
can't
this, like,
even think of it.
Some shitty ass show, Jack and Jill, were like the only interesting part, like, or like, you know, what they thought was interesting was like Jack was the girl, Jill was the guy, because his like she's like Jacqueline, and his last name is Jill or something, and that was like the only interesting fact about it.
Is it about kids going into the forest?
No, it's just
That's
like
Hansel and Gretel.
Whatever.
Jack and Jill went up the hill.
Yeah.
the hill did not have a forest.
You know, Jack and Jill went into the forest and found, you know, the witch and ate the whatever. All right. We are kind of whatever binge. We're baffling and cringeworthy. We're done with the minutia. Let's get
I
some
got
jo-
one minutia thing.
You want a minutia? You fit minor minutia for
So
us?
this is an Amazon show, and it starts off by the people getting Amazon branded envelopes with Amazon tablets inside, which has the invitation from the host as a video on it. I'm just like, you're laying it on a little thick, Amazon.
To be clear, we only saw like 2 of those people. So like
We saw at
We
least
did.
4 people with tablets.
they were moving that along. There wasn't a whole lot of like 10 intros of these people getting these tablets. And, Brian, what do you got for us?
I got another one. So when that dude, I think Alex, was like describing like some of the words that like made him laugh, like it sparked a little discussion. But in the subtitles, the word smegma was thrown around, and that is the second time I've heard that word in my life, and I did not think it was going to be on this show.
Smegma?
Yeah,
Okay. Anyone else have any other minutiae they want to talk about? All right. Let's get into drinking rules. I think you got to take a drink for every bit that doesn't make you laugh, and then take a drink for every bit that does make you laugh.
Okay, here's the problem though. I don't know. Like sometimes it's obvious. Sometimes I didn't know if it was a bit or not.
Look, when they put on the penis hat, that's a bit.
I like putting on a prop should not be called a bit. Like there
That's
needs to
a
be
bit-
more
that-
to a
that's
bit.
definitely a bit.
That's a bit in like this is like a prop comedy like central.
I mean,
You
I
gotta
feel
do
like
the comedy as well. You can't just be like prop comedy has 2 parts, prop and comedy. You can't just prop it and not do the comedy.
Well,
Well,
that's like
part
the
of-
whole, the whole thing with the show is like they put the prop on and then they let for it to sink and then like they wait for it and how it interact rather than come out swinging.
Right.
So like part of the like comedy is to come out and act like normal, even though you're in like a Godzilla suit, and you just like start talking about strawberry pudding. I don't know, like what the fuck? Then it's funny that you're out there like acting like a normal person. Like that could be part of your bit, or like you start acting like grandma. I don't know. Like that's what I wanted out of the show, and I didn't get it. Max, give me your drinking rule. Nothing.
I got nothing.
VJ, you have a drinking rule? Does anyone have a
No.
drinking rule?
I'm shocked VJ did not throw out the every time the host calls someone a tough competitor, you got to take a drink.
Oh, yeah. Like the reason I didn't think of it too much was like that only lasts,
It's only for the
sort of
first episode.
First episode, part of the episode. It's not like a regular recurring thing.
Ryan, do you have a drink?
Drink every time you see a penis or like penis prop.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Do you think people get naked in this show like they did in Documental?
Yes.
Or is that a Japanese thing?
I don't think so.
I think it's
I
gonna
don't think
happen.
they get naked. I don't think it's all.
I think it's part of their contract. Not to.
They've already thrown out the word sexual harassment too many times for that to happen.
Also, we didn't really see any of it in the next time on. I think that's something that you don't hold back on.
I think that was the whole next time on Documental. It was just like, these guys are getting real naked. Watch the next episode.
Noah, give me a drink and roll.
Yeah, so drinking for me is every time they talk about shit or like poop, drink.
I think an easy one everyone missed is like drink when anyone gets a card, yellow or red card.
Oh yeah.
It's a good one.
Sure.
You could drink every time they drink a beer out of their fridge full of Coronas.
How much do you think Corona paid for that?
Not that much.
Maybe Amazon paid Corona to just, can we just have some Coronas?
The documental, like the next time on, the most intriguing. It was so weird because there was some guy bent over with his ass out, and another guy next to him with like a giant rubber band, and you're like, what it's like, what kind of show is this? And that was the next time on. That really teased you up, unlike this show where the next time on was couldn't even tell you.
The documental next time on just such a slap in the face, like, what was that?
Yeah, just exponentially crazier than what you just watched. You got to see more.
Yeah. So production schedule, obviously a day, filmed in 6 hours or whatever.
How fake are the Amazon tablet parts? Like, are they filming it the same day, or
maybe it's a 2-day event. You come in beforehand to do some like Q&A. I don't know. They could spill into another day to do some of the confessionals. Like, hey, what were you feeling during this thing? So maybe you film the like tablet piece and the confessionals the second day. Like that's probably how I would schedule it. You come in for a weekend.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So obviously documental is the better parent here. This is a ugly stepchild. Don't watch this one. Let's get in. Oh, would this show be better as a Quibi?
I don't think the way the show could be better.
I don't think the show could be as good as a Quibi unless you like really change the format, and maybe that'd be better. Like instead of 6 hours, like, I know that the Impractical Jokers is a similar bit, and it's like, I don't know, it's like a third of their show. So, and then this could be pretty funny. So
this could be good as a Quibi. Like if they have to come out swinging. Like that's kind of the thing. Like it has to be really hard hitting jokes if you're gonna make it shorter.
I mean, it's just got to be like, so the Impractical Jokers have 4 people and they just sit around, and then once somebody laughs, they're out. Then you just keep moving until there's one winner. It's got to be, you got to be hit here. So I think it can be. Let's get on to our last question. Let's do our ratings. We do a stack ranking system where we got top, middle, bottom, and some people stack inside their stacks. Brian, what do you got for me?
Bottom third. I'm immediately going to go watch Documental to erase this from my mind.
Rob, give it to me.
Yeah, it's got to be bottom third. I'm like, part of me is holding out, like, should we watch like one more episode and see if it picks up? But like, nothing interesting happened in this whole show, and it's no good.
Noah, what do you got for me?
I am on a different page as all of you. I think this will pick up. I have high hopes. So I'm honestly, I don't think this delivered as much as we wanted to. I think the introductions could have been a lot better to tease out more of the characters. I am putting this in the middle, solid middle. I think this will improve. I think we got something here. So I'm gonna watch more, and I will report back on how it is.
I'm worried but excited to hear back.
VJ, what do you got for me?
Well, first, I just want to like when Noah said I'm on a different page from all of you, and then he started going about how like he's gonna pick up. I really thought he was doing a bit. I really thought he was gonna be like, "Psych, it's obviously bottom third," right? So that's how much. That's how negative I think of the show. Like one thing we've discussed is like if you'd watch it again or not, like that. Like we decided to watch 2 episodes, and then I wanted to just walk away. I was really done. I was like really contemplating after watching 1 episode. I'm like, hey, I'll just tell you guys, I'll see you next week. So like, that's how bad I think it is. But I don't hate the people, right? I feel like I don't feel disgusted. I don't feel like terrible. So middle of the bottom.
Max, what do you got for me?
Bottom third, bottom of the bottom. This was one of the most rancid turds we've ever seen.
Oh, those are strong words.
I did not laugh once.
Agreed.
I chuckled at the penis hat. I'm not gonna lie.
I laughed at you describing you.
100%.
That was funnier than the entire show.
Totally.
Oh, that's so
fair.
sad.
You know, it's so sad because Documental is a top tier show.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good. And then the show to besmirch Documental so bad, it's got to go in the bottom. Like, I can't believe this is a bottom because this is such a good idea and such a good bit. And they just, they put like 10 of us. If you put all of us in a room, they could be funnier than this. And look, what are they doing? Sometimes maybe you need to get less professionals or something. I don't know. It's terrible casting and ugh. Anyway, that's it for this show. Brian, you have a shout out this week?
I do not.
Rob, you have a shout out this week?
I don't have a shout out, but I want to know, what do we think the Rebel Wilson version is? Is that one better or worse than this one?
I was gonna
For
say,
sure.
do we have to watch it?
So
Season
what
6, let's do it.
I can tell you that Amazon has 2.5 stars for this show and has 2.5 stars for the Rebel
Oh,
Wilson
boy.
version.
Ugh.
How many stars for Documental?
I don't know. I didn't look it up.
1 second.
All right, thank you, Brian.
Noah, you have or Rob, did you give your shout out?
4
I
stars.
don't have a shout out this week.
All right. Noah, you have a shout out this week?
I'm gonna give a shout out to Big Mouth. Not a new show, just new to me. Pretty enjoyable. Has a heavy hitting cast, which I did not know about. So yeah, Big Mouth on Netflix.
VJ, you have a shout out this week?
Continuing to watch Snowpiercer. Still continues to be good. So yeah, people should watch it.
Max, you got a shout out this week?
Shout out to this week's The Challenge for being a dumb piece of shit.
Oh yeah. I don't know why you wouldn't expect them to do that. They always do this.
Is there a Redemption House? Does the Redemption House show up?
No.
They-
Max, explain.
Okay, they tease you when all season they fall into a nice format of you have a challenge with everybody and then you have elimination with 2 people. And this last episode, they just had the challenge. They didn't have the elimination at the end. So they fucked it all up.
I agree with the pain point there. The episode wasn't bad. It was interesting. It wasn't like it was dragging. There was still a decent amount of drama.
To be clear, Max, somebody did leave the show. So
Chris, I swear to fucking God.
I also hate that. So my shout out this week is we talked about Young Rock last week, I believe. And episode 2 was real good. So I think it's looking up. I would give it a shout out, and I'd also shout out Documental. You listen to this whole thing, you watch episode 1, you could tell the show is bad, but Documental season 1 episode 2, do it up. You can find us on Twitter at whoboothison. You can find us on facebook.com/whoboothison. You can email us questions and suggestions at whoboothison@gmail.com. And we'll see you guys next time.
I still have this curiosity to like see like what episode 2 could be, because like maybe
I
they'll
really-
like shake something off. I don't know.
I think there's like a double problem here where we're like people weren't funny, or compounding problem, like people weren't funny, but then like we're not getting some of the cultural jokes, and then also like because we're reading subtitles, maybe we're not getting the right inflection, so like we're missing out on that. So like it does take more over subtitles to get your point across, especially comedy, right? And like some people are good enough to overcome that. That's good for them. But clearly these people are, we're not even sure if they would be good otherwise. So
I did think about that, but
and
they
that's why I
also
think
told
the
a lot
Rebel
of jokes.
Wilson one might be better for us. Not better overall, but better for
True.
us.
I had that thought when I was reading subtitles. I was like, man, they're going fast. I can't see their facial expressions,
Totally.
which is like
It was
what's
pretty
funny.
fast, yeah.
And we're trying to take notes, and I was like, oh my god, this is just a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like every time I
they-
like looked down to take a note, like I felt like I missed two sentences, right? Like there was no
Yep.
time.
They also told a lot of like geographical, like cultural jokes, and I was like, I don't get those because I'm not Mexican, so I like that's whatever. I can't deal with that.
It wasn't
Right.
too
But
many.
everything else is okay.
Just like that the hairy tongue.
No. There was a lot like
There-
about like where they lived and everything.
Oh yeah.
There was the one,
you're
is,
right.
is it above? Is it below? Is it like what's going on? And like,
And
I
there were a lot
really
of references
think-
like different places too.
I really think, given if you're using the right words for that conversation, it can be funny, and without the right words, it's not funny.
Yeah. See, like I like all the arguments, but Documental is funny. It's all the same problems.
They
No, it's
they
not.
didn't
Like,
no
that's
no
what
no.
I'm saying. Like,
They didn't dive into those.
To dive into what?
Like sorry, B.
No, I was saying, Chris, that
The cultural stuff.
you can overcome these things.
Yeah, yeah.
You
If
just have
they're
to be
better.
really funny. If you just have to be really good. So like that's gonna like it makes it just puts you at a disadvantage for us as viewers. That's it. There's not.
There's
you can overcome that
definitely like an aspect of like the Japanese show is very prop heavy, and this show hasn't been very prop heavy. So like the props will translate a lot easier because they're props. They're not like they're like or people doing like weird humor. I don't know, like
So-
physical humor. Whereas like here, there's a lot of talking, which doesn't translate as well.
I think that the people on Documental were like way more creative. Like my favorite joke still by far was one contestant brought in a picture of someone from their family who had like a buck tooth, like they had a funny face. They were trying to like make other people laugh from it. Fine. Another contestant took that photo, cut out the face from it, like put it somewhere random, and was just like, hey, come over here and take a look at this. And then like they just burst out laughing. Like it was just such a surprise. Like that was creativity. Great.
Oh yeah, I mean the Japanese show is better in every way. Let's be clear, but I think that like Noah has you guys have a point. Like it could be better. Like, but the next time on wasn't better.
Right.
Like your next time on's got to have something. The worst shows have a good next time on.
It also sucks because like you don't want the next on to be a good one in this case because it's just like reveal some good jokes. It's like
Right.
the whole movie trailer problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is why you do it, Brian. This gets you to watch
Yeah.
episode 2.
This is why what you really need is a situation where there's so many good jokes that ruining a couple of them doesn't matter.